The finals is like fudge. It makes me fucking sick. I mean, any amount of it is too much of a good thing. This game has the stink of death about it, so I wanted to do my best to hasten that along by doing what I did with Omega Strikers. Recommending it. It's really good.
We'll stop making new content updates for Omega Strikers.
No. Made by a studio started by a group of ex-DICE devs, the game has the Frostbite aesthetic and architectural color pop of Mirror's Edge. Hearing the chief content officer, Rob Runson, choke up remembering his time working on Mirror's Edge means more to me than anything, really.
Always lead and never follow. I mean, Mirror's Edge changed my... I started to cry. Mirror's Edge changed how I see game development. That, in many ways, that curious and rebellion heart that Faith had is actually what makes the finals work. I have a lot to thank. Oh, cut me out.
Aren't those Swedish guys just the cutest? The baseline mode for the game is Cash Out, a 3v3v3 PvP mode of point control, or sometimes 3v3v3v3. It can be a white knuckle ride when you're in control of your shit, or a 3v6 uphill struggle if you aren't. The unorthodox asymmetry of this mode feels like a flag in the ground, and I like it. They could have just phoned it in with a 6v6 and called it a day, opting for big wave pushes like every other game, but instead they spread it out into smaller, more chaotically intimate breakout fights that may or may not necessarily take place directly on top of the objective.
Are you speaking English?
No, I'll probably... I think this makes better use of... I'm not done not speaking English.
I'll continue not understanding then.
Good. I think this makes better use of the large, complex maps and destructible terrain. With that said, the two-team push-the-cart mode is a great time, and might I say, one of my favorite cart-pushing modes of all time in any game. Having the cart float right through a building makes you feel like a mariachi band in a china shop. You pick from three main classes: Reinhardt, Mercy76, and Widowfuck. The unorthodox design decisions continue with the loadouts, and I'm pretty sure this is the second time I've said unorthodox in this review alone.
Yeah, but I was gonna say.
Which is too many times. You don't have a secondary weapon, which feels disconcerting, but it just means that sometimes the game turns into something more than just who's better at aggressive point-and-click adventures. Now, the elephant in the room with this game was the use of AI voice acting. During my time in the beta, my actual only critique was how bad the announcer voices were. Their baseline was terribly cheese, with poor delivery by voice actors who didn't appear to know what the other actor was saying. It makes sense lore-wise to use AI. It takes place in a future fictional esport in a dystopia where AI has taken everyone's jobs. It's set in the year 2024. In the first season, each glorious match was punctuated by a reminder that the devs were Scrooge McDucks about their reward system. I don't need shiny baubles to have a good time, but if you're gonna have them, don't put them just out of reach. I'm already a blue rat. I don't need even bluer balls. Fortunately, in Season 2, they fixed this by being far more generous with XP rewards to power you through the Battle Pass, via missions slowly unlocking over the course of the season. It feels like one of those systems where Johnny-come-latelys could get most of the pass in the last couple days if they didn't feel like being chained down to doing dailies. To survive though, this game needed to do one thing really well, and that's everything. And by that I mean like maintaining the novelty factor. Fresh maps, more guns, and more modes. Do you guys think that game developers ever have that moment of clarity where they realize they've just built themselves a hamster wheel made out of guillotines and the teens always get you in the end? Thankfully, they've begun to pull it off in all of those departments. I said at the top of the video that this game stinks of death, and what I mean is that there's this kind of underlying dread among the community that a game this cool and expensive looking just isn't getting nearly as much hype as it deserves to, survive. You don't really feel it in game. You find matches in no time at all, but just out in the wild, not enough people are buzzing about it. Maybe that's because it lacks the one thing that Apex Legends and Overwatch have.
Real human voices?
Fuckable characters. Apart from this little egg guy, I'd scramble him anytime. This game is one of the...
Scramble. I just got it.
This game is one of the few games I do a couple rounds of at the end of every night. It's a little treat, despite maybe giving me way more adrenaline than I need at 1 AM in the morning. Do I recommend it? Well, thanks for asking me. Yes, I do. That's the video. That's the video.
Is that?
That's the video.
Okay, I'm so sick. Y'all have to subscribe because he made me do this.